let's segue into what I had to explain that caught me off guard. Because it has to do with nuts. My son Cooper is 6 or 7, and he has this fascination now, and I'm hoping it's a stage with his butt and his butthole and his penis, and it's ridiculous. And he thinks it's funny, and I gotta admit, when it's just us, it is funny. Mm-hmm. But when we're around other people, I can't show him that it's funny because he won't stop. Last week, I told you how he pulled his pants down and he was trying to air hump the kid on our trampoline in the back. Well, the latest is he air humped again, but his pants were up, so he didn't take his pants. At least he didn't take his pants off. And he was like thrusting, and he was chanting, "Teabag, teabag, teabag." Now, I don't even know. I don't think I learned what teabag was until at least I was a teenager.
Older than that. Late, yeah.
Like teabag.
Probably late teens. Does he know what teabag is? I have to think he knows what a teabag is.
Well, I don't think he did, but then I kind of told him, and in the best way I could, I said, "Well, buddy, it's kind of when guys are." I didn't say with a girl because then he would he doesn't know about sex yet. I'm spelling things. Shoot me, but. I said, because you have that time in your life whenever, especially like teenage boys, like they'll play pranks on each other, or and they'll pull their pants down and put their butthole in some guy's nose who's sleeping or whatever. So I kind of explained it that way, but I said, your balls, and you kind of, and then I actually pulled out a tea bag, and I said, so this is your balls, and they kind of go, like this. And he was like, "Oh, why would someone do that?" I said, "Exactly. So don't do it, all right? Don't do it."
Oh, I can't imagine having to explain this.
But the best part about it was that I didn't find out until afterwards, because when the incident happened, he and the other kid that were involved, I heard screaming outside, and they came running in, and the kid said, "Hey, Cooper was, putting his stuff in my face." And then Cooper said, "Yeah, and he picked up his head and he hit me in the balls." And of course I told him, I said, don't put your balls in some guy's face, and that won't happen. He's 7. He's 7. I'm not, I can have those conversations, but I like to be a little bit prepared.
That's why I don't let my kids hang out with yours very often.
But see, the problem is, and they learned this from other kids. Like who have older brothers.
You can't blame the other kids.
No. But still, a lot of times it's because some kid has an older brother. And especially if some kid has a middle school older brother, middle school boys are the worst. If there are any watching you, seriously, they're the worst. They're horrible influences. Because I think when I was in middle school, I was a shitbag. I still am a shitbag.
You're pretty much a shitbag now.
But, whatever. So, yeah, I had to explain teabagging to my 7-year-old.
Yeah, but you got to... Let's go back to the fact that you're talking about, middle schoolers. Those are kids that hear something and they want to impress other people with their knowledge. Right. So they're going to tell younger kids. It's just like spreading the virus.
Yeah.
And how did you learn about things? Did your parents tell you about sex?
Oh, no, my friends.
Of course.
My mom still, I'm 40, she doesn't say the word sex in front of me. Forget about it. And she was fine with, and I said, "Mom, I don't want like Cooper and Ryder learning stuff from their dirtball friends. I call all their friends dirtballs. I said, I want to be able to explain that. And she was like, "No, I was fine with you just learning from your friends. I don't want to have that conversation."
That's good parenting there.
Yeah.
For Jacques and Billy, I think the only issue that we have with private stuff is that Billy can't be naked at all in front of Jacques. Jacques will point at Billy's privates and start laughing.
Yeah.
And then Billy gets pissed off and comes to us. Well, he's laughing, and then they start fighting after that. And then it's like naked wrestling and junk's flying everywhere because they're boys.
I my kids are at the age where I can still like go pee in front of them and stuff. And in fact, sometimes Cooper's 7, and I think one more year, and we're kind of getting away from it.
No.
Like he'll come in the shower with me only because he doesn't bathe right, and he's just, so I have to kind of watch him. But now he's getting to the point where he actually is doing it. So he'll see me naked. And the other day, he was peeing, and I was drying off, and he looked at himself, like his arm, and then he looked over at my junk, and he looked at his arm. He goes, "Dad, why is like skin like peach, but that's like brown?" What do you say? I don't know. It's a different color. Huh? It's a different shade. There you go. Crystal on Facebook. So I asked you guys to come up with some, share some stories about things you weren't ready to explain. And she says, Tucker, her son, is 7. And she says, while I'm in the shower, he comes in to poop. See, I lock the door now, and I won't let them in. Hey, Mom, did you know you have a pee-pee, but it's inside you instead of sticking out? I tell him that we don't actually have a penis. We're very, very different. She says, though, if we walked around in our skeletons, you would not be able to tell I'm a male from a female. That's actually false because the hips are...
the bones are actually...
Birth hips.
Well, the bones for men are actually bigger than women's, too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The density of the bone.
You're the educated one. Go figure. Mm-hmm. He says, "No, Mom, you're wrong. My pee-pee is an extra bone."
How do you explain that one?
It's not a bone. It's made up of tissue and cartilage. Tucker, are you sure? Because sometimes it's hard like a bone. Yes, we can Google it when I get out of the shower. Yeah.
Having to Google that for a 7-year-old, because...
You have to pre-screen Google because some bad stuff's going to come out. Veronica, my 7-year-old, wanted to know how babies are made, and I was caught off guard. I'm not prepared yet. I gave her the answer that Mom and Dad get married and love each other so much that they have a baby. She didn't think my answer was enough, but she let it go this time. Yeah, you're going to have to explain that to her sometime.
I think that my wife, a couple of years ago, showed Billy a live birth. I'm pretty sure.
I'm an adult, and that's gross.
Yeah,
have you ever seen the chick squat down and just pop one out in the stream?
Huh?
Yeah, some hippie chick. Oh, it's disgusting.
I don't even like to see animals give birth.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It's not good.
It's disgusting. Cheyenne, I don't have a kid, but I remember having to be explained what a period was when I was 4. 4? It's a little young. I'm waiting for my boys to see Katie's tampons and say, "What is that?" And as soon as that happens, I'm usually pretty open, and I'm like the one who wants to explain stuff. I'm gonna be like, "Talk to your mom." I'm out.
I don't want to have anything to do with that. Nothing. Because I honestly don't really know.
My 3-year-old Angela says, almost 4-year-old keeps asking how she was made. She understands that babies grow inside their mommy's tummy, but asks how they get in there. She also thinks if you kiss someone on the lips, then you are married. I actually had this conversation with my kids too, because when they're at a young age, they're satisfied with, oh, you grow in mommy's tummy, but they never question how they got in there or how they get out. And that's when Ryder, I forget how old he was, asked me, and just out of the blue, and it's always out of nowhere, and he said, "Dad, I know how we're inside mommy's tummy, but how do we get out of there? Do we get cut out?" And I said, well, sometimes you do get cut out, and sometimes they have to take you out. But I said, sometimes, like in your case, you come out your mom's vagina. Just like that. And he stopped for a second, and he just goes, "Ew." And we haven't talked about it since.
That was it?
No, that was it. And he was good with it.
Why wouldn't you go further and say, do you have any other questions?
Because I'm not ready to answer those. He's not ready. Maybe
he's what, 8 or 9? He's 9, right?
He's 9.
Okay.
I think next year he might be mature enough to have the what is sex talk, but I don't know.
We had to have it.
Oh,
we didn't have a choice.
Right, because of the stuff.
Because we had the kid.
Ecstasy?
No, I'm good. We had a 5th grader that was Billy's friend last year.
I'm going to be tripping balls in about 10 minutes.
Whenever he was in 3rd grade. And so this kid, I don't think his parents monitored, or still to this day monitor what he does on the internet. He's kind of on his own a lot. He's got parents that are divorced, so when he has a lot of things available to him without any passwords.
I would almost rather go to Target and just pick out someone who I thought looked okay and said, "Hey, would you take care of my kid?" Than leave him alone with the internet. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, he told Billy a lot, and so Billy found a way to get on our internet.
And he's just curious.
And so he did a lot of searching. And so whenever I looked up, I was wondering because I caught him whenever I logged into his iPad. Because his iPad, we don't let him just get on it whenever he wants. There's a passcode. We have to have the passcode. We put it in before he can get on it, okay? So put the passcode in, and I looked just to make sure he wasn't doing anything wrong, and he had taken a picture of himself.
Of his stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
He took a picture of his stuff. So at that point,
I still do that. By the way.
Okay. Do you have a gallery of it?
Yeah, I enlarge it though a lot.
Okay. That point, we didn't really know that he was looking on the internet, but I had a suspicion that something else was going on because he was waking up before us on Saturdays, like really early in the morning, and he'd get on the internet and play his games.
Right.
So I had the conversation about the iPad. And I said, you can never do this ever again. And he can't send it anywhere because we have it so protected that he can't do anything on his iPad. And so I looked on Google Chrome, and he hadn't looked up anything bad. Okay, good. Just making sure. And then later I thought about it. I said, well, I didn't look at Explorer, which is now what, Edge or something like that?
No.
It's called Edge instead of Explorer.
Oh, well, iPad, I have Safari. Safari is my porn surfing. Chrome, you can connect Chrome to too many things, so it makes me nervous. So I only surf porn on Safari.
Well, this is a PC, so he had gotten on the other browser, and then I looked at the history, and it was like a big Rolodex of porn that he was looking up. And that's where you have the discussion. You can't look at this stuff. We're blocking you from everything, and you're probably punished for 1.5 years. But since then, it was also saying, well, this kid is I'm not going to say it's this kid's fault, but it is.
Oh, totally.
Because, come on, dude. He's a 3rd grader. You're a 5th grader. You can't be doing that.
Well, you know, I mean, they don't have still in the 5th grade, they don't have the sense, the reasoning to realize that that's probably a bad thing. They're dirt balls.
That's an 11-year-old though.
Yeah. I have the maturity of an 11-year-old.
I think I probably found out whenever I was 11. I probably figured things out because it was only nudie magazines, and you would be on your bike, going down the road, and then there'd be like a nudie magazine sitting there in the ditch or something like that. Yeah. You're like, what's this?
I have the maturity of an 11-year-old and also a penis of an 11-year-old.
Congrats.
Yeah, no. All right. So there you go. Sometimes we're not prepared to have those conversations, and that's okay. I figured, and I don't know if you agree with this, but there's one of two answers you can have. All right, buddy, you're not old enough to know that yet, and we will talk about when I feel you're old enough. Or if they are old enough, just be honest with them. Because, again, I'd rather them learn from me.
Parenting is hard, though.
And what teabagging is than their friend. Teabag, teabag, teabag!
I have to think that he knew that. I have to think that he knew about that, though.